Hello and welcome to another Near Running Cast. As always, my name is Johno, and once again I'm joined by James. How you doing, James?
Good, thanks for having me again, John.
And in this game, which is the second elimination round from the BABW Qualifier in Reading, we have on the left, local hero Joey, and on the right, outsider Laurie. Obviously both good friends of ours, to be honest.
See Joey in his Anarch t-shirt, pretty appropriate.
He's wearing it, yeah.
Not using a mat, despite the numerous mats
he must have loads of them, yeah.
He's won loads of mats.
Yeah, I think he doesn't bring them to tournaments because he forgets and can't be bothered or something.
He's often late to tournaments as well. So.
Wow, it's defamation. Yeah, so anyway, he's playing his RP on the left-hand side. Joe's playing his RP on the left, and on the right, we've got Laurie playing his Max. In fact, it's even the same table as he was playing a minute ago. So, obviously, we just saw Laurie beat a Butcher Shop NEH. What was the difference in how you should approach an RP matchup at the start from how you should approach a Butcher Shop matchup at the start?
In some ways, not that differently, because you need to build up a really good economy, I think, to deal with RP over the long game. But of course, any early pressure you can put on RP is rarely punished, or traditional RP, I should say. Joey's deck very different from the norm.
Yeah. So he installed a date sucker, actually accidentally put down a corroder by mistake and took it back. Joey didn't see it though, and then he checked HQ. We don't know what he accessed because he accessed kind of up in the air, so we didn't see what it was.
This is strong again, getting an early KT.
We're getting KT out, yeah, so he's got his kind of economy online. Joey, meanwhile, is going to money up and install ice on Archives.
Well,
I assume it's a crit.
It must be a crit.
Yeah.
There's no reason why you'd install something on Archives over HQ.
Yeah, against Max.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
There's no reason
crit, right?
And I mean, I'm assuming at this point he doesn't have agendas in HQ either. Laurie's going to check. But since he's got Data Sucker, that's pretty reasonable. Nah, interesting question. He's going to leave the Jack. Oh, in fact, he can't trash the Jackson. Do you consider it a card he should trash? Maybe as Max, you don't really care. It's a good card.
These days I'm struggling to...
Right, and there we go, there it is. So Laurie's seen Merlin in Joey's hand, so he now immediately knows, what, 9 of the influence?
I think that's a pretty critical thing to have spotted early before you've been punished by it.
Before he ran into... So
first of all, he played an I've Had Worse on the first turn.
Yes.
Or milled one, I can't remember which.
He lost it to Max.
Yeah. So...
but he knows that's out there. Now, if, for instance, there's a Merlin on R&D, he could have wandered straight into a double Merlin, early on. That would have been bad.
So, TFP.
So we've got Future Perfect. We're going to see a side game.
Win here, obviously wonderful for Laurie.
Yeah, well, Joey's obviously got the upper hand credit-wise, but it doesn't really matter if you can pay for it.
Laurie has KT, so he's fine.
Yeah, he can do whatever he wants. They're having a think. Joey changed his mind. 0-0, so he does take it.
That is absolutely critical.
That's a good early pull. So that's one of the 3 agendas he's going to need.
It's the important one in some ways as well.
It's the toughest one to steal. Yeah. It's not the one that's most crucial to RP.
Stealing it has very low impact in terms of actual interaction in the game, but it's absolutely critical for potentially being able to steal. Play the rest of the game out of R&D rather than having to challenge their remote.
Yeah, and it means that you don't have you only have to steal 3 and not 4. Right? So I mean, generally over the course of playing against RP, you're going to steal Future Perfects or Niseis or NAPDs.
At this point, Laurie could choose to just play for an R&D lock and win the game.
Yeah, he probably could.
Just absolutely massive.
I mean, Grail, because the number of subroutines can be tough to lock, can be tough to get in every turn because it can kind of build up a bit.
But you can, the Grail suite notoriously weak to Parasite, which Max will have.
That is true. Yeah, and Max, we know he does. In fact, he's got 4, I want to say, date suckers on the table already. 4 date sucker tokens.
So Joey's playing Blacklist, which makes a clone ship Parasite pretty much impossible.
Yes.
Which could catch Laurie out of guard.
He's got off guard. Careful, yeah. So we've seen Grail. So
we've seen 3 restructures out of Joey.
He keeps playing restructure. Yeah.
Kind of. Sometimes you see 1 or 2 in RP, but 3 is interesting.
I'm not sure why that is.
Often you see Sunju and stuff, right? Maybe Joey doesn't feel he can protect the remote as well as a normal RP deck. I don't know.
Maybe that's it. I mean, it's an efficient economy card. It's obviously hard to play.
Not complaining about it. Seeing them all early when you can play them, obviously brilliant.
Yeah. Well, he's now set up for the game, right? Yeah. So hopefully, for Laurie's sake, the same Merlin.
Yeah. Yeah. You notice he's not running anywhere where there's ice.
He's not worried about ice until he gets some breakers out. But if you're Jerry, you want to ice HQ,
I
right?
Like,
you have to.
I feel like at this point, maybe you do want to trash the Jackson. He's got the KT money if he wants to take it.
Yeah.
He's getting a free run on HQ, which allows him to run the remote against the RP ability.
So he is going to go after Jackson, and he does trash it, in fact. Joe declines to use it. He didn't want his 3 restructures back.
I think at this point, taxing Laurie 3 credits is a viable choice.
Yeah, I think so
Putting
too.
him on 0. I mean, he's got a lot of money on KT. But
if you're Jerry, you want to ice HQ, I feel he's definitely drawing. He's drawing stuff.
See,
he's drawing another crick.
So. I think this was critical because...
he's got 2 TFPs in hand. Is that another TFP? Maybe.
It is another future perfect, yeah.
So I think he's got 2 in hand. So, yeah, he's going to ice HQ.
I think Laurie was right to trash the Jackson there because he had the ability to access it, which obviously is not a given against RP.
So Laurie's lost Levy, which means that now he's going to be on the lookout for same old things.
It just means that Joey can't clear out his hand as easily with agendas, doing some absolutely noxious hand shuffling constantly.
Yep, that's the Joey way.
Pretty annoying. Takes a big suck on the vape stick.
Oh, you sound full of hate.
No, normally it's fine. There was a particular evening at Eclectic recently where the entire room got smelled
like fruity smoke. Yeah, you're right. I know the night you mean. Okay, so Laurie's gonna lay down Mimic and Corroder. So it looks like he just wants to get all of his breakers down before he thinks about running ice.
Yeah, well,
pretty reasonable.
Completely correct call.
Now, obviously, Mimic and Yogg are not going to have issues again. So Mimic won't have an issue against Lancelot. Yogg needs data sucker support to break
or net ready ice, which a lot of the Max players were playing.
But Laurie's got a loaded data sucker on the table. I wouldn't be surprised if Yogg goes down to possibly see Joey purge if he knows there are Merlins on the table. Or he might have decided to keep the
Joey
Merlins
hates
in hand.
Purging.
So inefficient.
For someone that plays a lot of Anarch, Joey really hates purging.
Sometimes purging is the right thing to do.
Yeah, sometimes it is, but it's kind of hard to spend your entire turn purging 1 data sucker token. Though he has theoretically now locked him out.
He's got ice on every remote, so if you're Joey, then you can probably feel good about starting to put down some assets because Laurie won't run them until he's set up, I think. It looks like at this point he's made the decision.
He can't run them now. He's seen the Grail suite.
I mean, what if you...
And he's seen the Merlin as well.
In hand, yeah.
Yeah.
Although if the Merlin's in hand and not on the table, it means that...
But he's placed ice on the table now, so...
Yeah. I think the Merlin's probably an R&D.
Yeah, I think so too.
So he's going to keep drawing. He's going to see more agendas. What if you... what would you say if Joey installed an advanced card? Now, obviously, he has an Issa, yeah.
That's kind of a really interesting question.
Because how would Laurie respond to that? It means
I think he would run archives and hit the crick.
So he'd assume it's a crick.
Yeah. Well, we're pretty certain it's a crick.
It's got to be.
So I think you eat the crick, let him reinstall the Jackson. Yeah. At which point Joey probably installs the Jackson over the agenda and then shuffles it back through.
Maybe, but
an interesting point.
Yeah, because if Laurie doesn't do something, then that means you're going to get an agenda, and he means he's going to have to start going into ice.
Laurie's probably happy at this point to sit and rig up. I don't know if he played Joey in the Swiss. So he may not know that he's running... I think he's running like 3 copies of Blacklist.
I don't think they did play in... I don't remember. They may well.
In which case, Laurie's being decidedly cautious for a good reason.
So we've got Crick on HQ as well, alright.
So
we can't break it, so Jackson's coming back.
Has he got... I don't think he has enough sucker tokens to bring it down either, so... It'll be the Jackson, I guess.
Well, he hasn't got Yogg on the table. I don't know what he's got in the bin.
He's got a Parasite in the bin and a clone chip on the table.
So he can't...
I don't think he's got...
Yeah,
how many sucker tokens has he got now?
He's got 4.
Oh, no, so he could do, because it's on HQ it's only strength 3.
Yeah, you're right, he could have trashed it.
It's probably not... He probably doesn't want to use the Parasite or the clone chip for it, right?
No, he'd rather keep it.
There's going to be
better things, yeah. So he's going to see a Blacklist, which he will immediately trash. I'm surprised that didn't go on the table, actually.
If I was Joey, I would have put it on the table.
I'd have thrown it down and rested it straight away. Especially with the clone chip on the table.
Yeah. It's a massive threat as well. Like, mentally, it's kind of really worrying for a Max deck.
Yeah, it's a worry if, you're relying on clone chip and...
So here's the Merlin.
Yeah, it's Merlin.
Hopefully Laurie has iPad worse, but he might clone chip Parasite this one?
Yes, he may... I think I'd be tempted to clone chip Parasite.
The Merlin. Yeah, so here we go.
Yeah, he's...
Because this is going to completely destroy Joey's fledgling scoring remote.
Yeah, there's no remote, so he's going to clone chip Parasite. And
so now they can play the side game, but Laurie
really
can just
matter.
run it again and again, right? And then trash.
So play 0 and trashes. Yeah. Okay.
Joey's in a really rough position now in what was a particularly advantageous matchup, I think, for him.
So the remote is gone.
Yeah,
There is now no scoring remote, and if Laurie can get Yogg down, he can run right over HQ as well. I mean, Crick is not a taxing ice. I mean, to be honest, it does stop him running it before he gets Yogg, because
you don't want to reinstall the Caprice or the ice.
You don't want to see the Caprice come back, or the Jackson. Well, sorry, Jackson on the table. We don't see the Caprice come back.
You don't want to see him bring back the Merlin either.
Merlin, yeah, might appear on HQ or something. So, Joe's going to use Jackson.
Blacklist, probably going back in R&D.
Yeah, I'd say Blacklist and
is
Merlin.
That the Merlin? Yeah,
and a face down card. Yeah, that's pretty reasonable.
I think the face down card's probably the Nisei that we saw in his hand.
Yeah, you think he binned it?
He's got nowhere to
with
score
the Jackson
it,
on the
right?
table.
So,
he might have. Yeah, you're right. Which just means
I don't want to denigrate Laurie's skill in any way, but he's been very fortunate with the way this game has kind of run out in terms of the information he saw early and things like that.
Yeah, maybe he found out very early that it was Grail. He obviously made a decision not to run any ice.
I think Joey just drew into the Hades.
He got 2 breakers.
Well.
I don't know. So we got 2 breakers down. So
soon to be
and then
replaced in RP forevermore by Global Food Initiative.
That's a great card. It's influence, but that's a great card.
That's such a good card.
Yeah, so it's tough to know what to do as Joey here.
He's got money, so that's one thing that he's got going for him.
So
Laurie has no money. Laurie has no Yogg. I mean, I think maybe you draw for a blacklist and then try and score something out.
Maybe.
And hope that Laurie mills 2 Yoggs or something like that. It's not outrageous.
It's a lot of maybes, yeah. So he's so Joe he just drew a couple of cards and created a new remote. Be interested to see what he's put down. Maybe it's another piece of Grail ice. He might have a Lancelot or something hanging around. Who knows? Lancelot's no good.
I mean, the current issue is he needs Merlins.
Because that's the only thing that can't be broken currently.
Well, or he needs Batty and to get lucky on a side game.
Batty would get interesting. Batty on a remote.
This is where the deck just gets disgusting, right? Because even if you have all the right pieces, you can face plant one after losing the correct breaker to Batty.
Yeah. So Batty Lancelot.
Yeah.
Pre-res. I mean,
just
pre-encounter can obviously trash, and then you can show.
You can add the Lancelot sub to whichever Grail ice you need to.
Right. So, but you can only do that on encounter. So if you want to fire Batty before encounter, it's got to be Lancelot on the table.
So it's marginally less disgusting.
Actually, that's an
amusing
anecdote about the leader. I had a very good idea of what kind of deck Joe was going to bring to this tournament. Because
so did I.
For the 2 weeks, yeah. Well, you practiced for the 2 weeks or even month before. He kept asking me Batty timing questions. So I was like, okay, all right, Batty-Grail. Oh, but if it's Grail, what if it's this on the table?
I've just got this vision of Joey taking a kind of secretive notebook.
Spreadsheet.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I had a good idea of what kind of thing he was going to be bringing for this.
Well, I ran into it the Tuesday before the Saturday tournament when I was happily coasting along, bimbling around with my equivalent to this Max deck.
Yeah.
And just got utterly annihilated to the point that I just threw the deck away and went back to kind of substandard PPVP Kate deck on the day.
So, Laurie just economied up. He installed a second Liberated account, and he's got 2 on the go that he started using, and he used Katie as well. So he's just maybe trying to get rich so he can kind of bully his way past stuff once he's got his rig out. Joey, on the other hand,
it's gonna cost him some money to install the Yogg.
There's a second ice on this remote as well. So
do we know if Laurie was running net ready ice? I kind of hope that he was.
I think he wasn't.
Really?
Do you know what? I can find out very quickly.
Please do.
Let's find out.
With the best in the world, Laurie plays a lot of top decks and he net decks a lot of them too. Nothing wrong with that, obviously, but I'd be surprised if he deviated away from the kind of Dan Darginio style list.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Let me very quickly find out his deck list, and viewers will be able to click in the description of this video to see it. Right, let's see. Yes, he does. He has 2.
Yeah, that's
so clone chip
kind of splash for influence. I think
and Levy and legwork are the other influence spins.
Yeah,
so that's pretty reasonable.
Pretty standard stuff.
Yeah. Okay. So I didn't see it in his previous video. He must have.
No, I didn't see it at all.
No, I didn't see it get milled.
That's why I was asking.
Yeah, you're right. That would be good, and that's obviously that's good if you're playing the traditional Anarch rig as well.
Deck.
Okay.
At the time, Lotus Field was a much bigger problem. Well, actually, that's not as... I think Lotus Field was on the way out at this point because the underway had come out and Faust had come out too. Faust was available for this tournament.
It was definitely Faust. You had Faust in your cape.
Yeah, I know. Mostly because Joey played this horrible thing against me, and I was like, well, I don't know, maybe a quality time and Faust is equivalent to a stim hack. It was a bad change to the prepaid economy kind of deck.
Okay, so we've got Sundry in the remote. So I mean, Jerry has money. So yeah, but maybe he's
interesting to see
he can force a run. Maybe?
Interesting to see the Sunji not in the scoring remote here.
He's obviously got plans for that remote.
I guess he's got a lot of other things in the deck slots that you don't normally see in RP, so I can only assume he's probably not playing as many or even any interns.
So we do see the Yogg and now a free check on HQ. We're going to see. This is Nisei, okay.
Well,
yeah.
This game just goes from bad to worse.
Yeah, so that's it. I mean, he can now run HQ for free, and he's pulled
Joey not even bothering to res the ice to protect the Sanji.
Yeah, well, because Nisei is just so good for an RP deck that plans to create a kind of unrunnable remote. You get the feeling
it's just backbreaking for the runner.
Yeah, so
it's just really just makes everyone cry, to be honest. It's a very, very strong agenda.
But would Joe have installed it? I mean, maybe.
Well, I think next turn it was going install advance in the remote, or install maybe? Advance put in a Caprice or something like that.
He didn't seem
or a Batty or something.
Yeah, I'd like to see Caprice go in that remote.
I'm more interested to see that he didn't res the ice protecting the Sunji, which, despite having about 23 credits or something, 21.
I mean, maybe it was just a.
It might have been an Enigma that was completely yoggable, right?
Yeah, it could have been just some quandary, some cheap code gate, in which case it's blank.
So Net Ready Eye's gone in the bin actually.
Yes,
critical
mills,
purge could be quite important here. This is the time when you might think about purge.
But Laurie can run HQ.
Oh yeah, sorry, yeah, it's only stroke 3 for the crit, so yeah, it doesn't help.
So I mean, maybe if you're Joey, you consider icing HQ, re-icing. You can trash
and then purge, I suppose, but
yeah, I'm not sure. Okay. So, if you're Laurie, though, I mean, you're on 5 points. So, is now the time get a bit of money for a turn, and then maybe next turn run on R&D just to kind of see what Icy's got?
I feel like this is the point
to anything.
That, unless, I mean, the worst case scenario is that's like a Cyberdex Virus Suite in the remote now. And then he tanks
into a Merlin.
Yeah, into a Merlin.
Yeah, so maybe.
Yeah, I don't know if Joey was running that. I've never put anything past Joey at this point.
I wouldn't be surprised to see a Merlin as the outermost start on that R&D.
I mean, if Laurie say Deja Vu's and Net Ready Eyes here, he can just run forever, pretty much. And he doesn't even, at that point, he doesn't necessarily even need to levy. Because he has all of the breakers. He has a KT online for bottomless economy and a liberated and a daily cast.
So we're going to see a legwork, which I think is the same old legwork, in fact. So which I think is going to be pretty key. Be interesting to see what he gets. So see a hedge fund.
I mean, if he sees an NAPD or just another Nisei, it's just game. Yeah,
it's game. Yeah. So he doesn't. Okay, so maybe
more operational economy. That
maybe. So maybe HQ's empty. In fact, it doesn't look like Joey doesn't have an agenda.
So
he's got a Cortex a long way.
So the reason Joey's running medical research fundraiser here rather than a celebrity gift is so that he doesn't show that he has the Grail pieces on the blacklist.
Yes, that would make sense to celebrity gift, sure. I don't explain all the restructures.
It doesn't explain the restructures, but that's why the
medical research is good if you create unrunnable. Like, it doesn't matter how much money you have; you can't.
In this case, he's playing a kind of attempt to trash all their breakers, so it doesn't really matter if they have money if they don't have the right breaker.
That's right, yeah. And then you can just walk stuff out behind whatever toll booth or something,
Probably not running a toll booth in this deck.
Yeah,
it's
right. Maybe, buying quandaries and stuff.
So it'd be 3 on Jackson, 9 on. I think his influence spend was 9 on the Grail Suite, 3 Jackson, 3 Blacklist.
Oh, so I think it might actually be an Excalibur in hand. So that's quite a good inclusion in the Grail Suite. If you don't ever install it, just keep it in hand.
I still think it's a pretty strong card in RP. I know certain people have kind of denigrated it, but I've seen it
just installed on archives as well. Even though you can't,
so you can't cheaply run archives.
Even though you can't reveal other Grail for it.
And Crick has kind of supplanted it as that kind of one-stop archives protection. But putting it on the scoring remote is still incredibly strong.
Yeah, well, in front of a Caprice.
And the argument some of the guys have made against it is that you don't want to see it early. you'd rather see like an actual piece of end the run ice, like an Enigma or something like that. But
yeah,
it's good with the Grail suite for sure.
So Max's party lifestyle is over as Laurie's deck runs out. So it'd be interesting to see. He used the same old thing last turn for the legwork. So it'd be interesting to see if he's got another one in hand.
He's probably got the same old thing.
The levy did go. Might be deja vu. That's true. Or it might, maybe I feel like he'd want to reset. I mean, he's got everything.
I don't know if he actually does need to be honest.
He might just spend a turn kind of emptying all the liberated accounts, installing all the stuff he needs to keep, and then reset.
But even if he doesn't, the only card he's probably looking for at this point, other than a potentially more kind of accelerant economy, is a net ready ice. That's all he kind of needs. He's got the full rig. I don't know if he knows that Joey's running Batty. He might have thought about it. I mean, Batty is kind of a potential problem once you've got your full rig out still.
Yeah. I mean, in front of Lancelot, as we say,
Or any Grail ice, because you can give it the subroutine and then fire.
So you can fire it after they break it.
And then they can't get through.
Yeah.
But
if there's something else behind it. Yeah. So,
Joey seems to be running into some hand management issues, which I guess is a pretty classic problem with Grail, because you need to hold on to the pieces.
Yeah, and you're going to assume that it's been a while since he tried to score, so the agendas are going to be coming and going. He's got Jackson, but I mean, there's not room for Grail.
Even more so than a kind of normal deck, then you want to hold on to the 3 different Grail pieces. So there's not much room for anything else in hand.
I remember building a Grail deck in The World Is Yours. The extra hand size is actually really useful for Grail for that exact reason, because it means you can hold other stuff in hand.
Like when I first started playing more competitively, I was a Twee player.
Yeah.
Before any age arrived.
So we've got Excalibur on the table, which is quite interesting, because it means Laurie now can't run on the remotes. He's obviously going to try and go off this blacklist.
Well, he can't now.
but he can't, that's it. Because he doesn't have an AI breaker. So he's going to get a pull. He might get an agenda. No, it's a hedge fund. So
Joey kind of struggling mightily here.
But it means he can't even check at HQ again, so he's just going to continue to money up. I mean, I'd like to see him run R&D, but maybe he just wants to stay away from it. There is an upgrade in R&D now.
So if he fears that being Batty, then maybe that's why he's not running.
I feel like that's exactly it. He's going to just not run there.
Is that another TFP going into Joey's hand?
Yeah, well, maybe it's another one come back, who knows.
Yeah.
So Jackson's going to try and sweep it away by the look of it.
And then he's to overdraw.
So it's going to be quite dense. Because there's presumably nothing in archive. Might be like
the deck looks quite thin now. I mean, Joey's been drawing quite a lot.
So he's going to install the remote.
The Sunju is safe as houses at the moment, even without any protection.
I think Laurie's got no interest in running it. I wouldn't be interested. I'd be interested in run archives because we assume it's a crick. There's no upgrade, scary upgrade on archives.
I think
he can force
Laurie
Jackson.
Knows there's no Ash as well, right? So the kind of credit differential doesn't matter that much.
Yeah, it's going to be side games.
Side games rather than.
Okay, so he's got all the money in the world now as well.
Joey complaining about medical charity work.
Yeah, I like medical research.
I think it's great.
I mean, I had it in a Rush Jinteki deck that just got rich and
great.
Like two different times of end, they're on a remote and
at that point, that's it, right? Like if you're playing a Rush deck, then you don't care how much money they have. You just only care whether they've got the ability to get in.
Okay, so he's going to run Archives on 1.
So assume he's got enough sucker tokens to break the crick.
Yep, so he's going to spend 3, as you say. He'll get one
Jackson
back.
Jackson will get punted.
So he does use Jackson to return.
Probably all the
presumably
agendas.
3 agendas. Yeah, let's see.
So maybe this is what Laurie's looking for. Now he'll try and run R&D. Like now the agendas are going back in. So it's very dense.
So this is comical. Jerry's made a mistake. There are 4 agendas in archives. that is awkward.
So I guess you leave the TFP.
Leave the future perfect. Yeah. He asks Laurie how many cards he has in hand, because we know on the day who's running at least 1 fetal AI, which is quite interesting if you're doing some Batty.
Joey was running fetal, was he?
He was.
Oh, okay.
Because he had like Batty Merlin stuff going on.
Yeah,
so you put it on the table, I think it's future perfect.
Joey.
And there's a lot of Faust as well. You could Faust into a fetal.
Who knows what's going into those, or going on in that mind?
Yeah, okay, so he's got a problem now though, because he's used Jackson, and that's now going to stay there. So this is clip 1. So Laurie could just run there a couple of times.
It's very taxing for the data sucker tokens. But he probably wants to hold on to some of them.
Well, I mean, yeah, you're right. I mean, he could even let it fire, and he could install Caprice somewhere and then the Future Perfect the next run or something. I don't know. So what's that game? And it's 1-1. So there we go.
Game.
Come on, Joey. It's basic stuff. Never throw 4 agendas away.
So that was what you meant by him joeying it up.
He did joey it up a little bit, didn't he?
We'd like to point out that Joey is a very good friend of ours.
He is a good player,
and he's an exceptionally good player.
Yeah. So I'm afraid that. What was it you said at the end of the previous video? That Joey would almost certainly beat Laurie's Max.
Laurie had a very fortunate opening to that, but he played the rest of it well.
He got the early Future Perfect, and he found out quickly it was Grail, which he may not have known going into that game.
No, if he hadn't played in Swiss, then he probably just assumed it was normal bog standard RP.
Classic, lockdown RP. So he would have. But he found out quickly it was Grail. You could see it happen. He immediately stopped running. He decided to
ran
get his rig down.
Almost nothing in the entire game, right?
Yeah, he decided to keep, and he got his rig down. And once his rig was pretty much all set up,
he was careful at protecting it. He didn't make any mistakes that might have led to him losing his cards.
He never ran an upgrade. That was the other thing. Yep. He never ran something that could have been an upgrade.
No chance of Marcus Batty trash.
No Batty stuff going on. Yeah.
Joey was he got lucky again on accessing a blacklist in Joey's hand before it could go on the board.
Yeah, that's true. That almost certainly would have gone down within a turn, within a turn or two. I'd have thought.
Unless he drew it last click, it should have gone on the board, because not only in Max can it prevent clone ship, parasite, and breaker recursion, but it can also prevent you extracting the levy and playing that, right? So
yeah, that's right. That's true. It messes up. Two sides. It messes up the rig building and also
the reset.
The reset. Yeah. All right.
A little bit unlucky from Joey there, but Laurie again played it very well once he knew what he was dealing with.
There's lots of really interesting questions I'd love to hear answered about that RP deck as well, like all the operation economy, that kind of thing.
Maybe next time we see Joey, we can ask why he was running the 3 restructures.
Maybe we'll mention it in the comments or something. Who knows?
Yeah.
Great. All right. So in our next video, we're gonna have. We're going to have. Oh yes, that's right. So Laurie stayed in the winning bracket, but we're going to drop with Joey to the loser bracket.
So was Laurie, after 2 wins in the winners bracket, was he on a kind of break at this point, or were they on a break?
I think the next round was not a break. I think he went into the kind of top 2 game.
Must have been against Stu then.
I think it was against Stu. Yeah.
Stu stayed in the winners. Well,
that's
spoilers,
right. Yeah,
Stu was in the winners bracket for most of the day.
Yeah, it was against Stu. That's right. So, we're going to drop with Joey now, and we're going to see his next game, which is in the losers bracket. So in the losers bracket, he came up against Barry. Have you played against Barry?
No, but I know who he is.
Yeah, that's right. So we haven't seen him around Reading much. He came for this tourney.
I think he's active in the scenes of quite a few different games in London.
Yes.
I think he plays.
He is.
He plays Conquest. I think he plays Thrones 1.0 and probably 2.0 now.
He does more than play. So Barry is an aspiring YouTube channel like myself.
Yeah, I'd heard that actually. I haven't had a chance to kind of check it out yet.
Give a shout out to his channel Face Check, which you should have a look at. And he's crazy because he plays every LCG and does videos to them, and he's mad. He's bad.
I'm attempting to mimic that now, having started playing a bit of Thrones 2.0 and Conquest.
So he's crazy. So he plays more.
Nice bloke, actually. I've spoken to him a few times, but not enough to really get to know him.
Yes. So it's good. So he's playing Noise, and he'll be playing against Joey's RP. So we're going to see Joey's RP again.
So we saw a lot of Noise on this day, but Barry's deck was by far the most exciting.
It was different
because it was very different.
All of the noises were the same. They were either like all the way mill with a bit of Faust, or all the way Faust with a bit of mill. But he had a totally different thing going on.
I'm excited for this game. Is he playing Noise in this game?
He is Noise.
Right, okay, I'm excited for this. Though we will see Joey's horrible RP deck again.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so I should also mention that if you'd like to watch any more of our videos, you can do so at neoreadinggrid.co.uk. You can also find us on Twitter and Facebook by typing neoreadinggrid into them. You can shout neoreadinggrid down a well, probably. And if you want to support our videos and improve what we do, you can go to our Patreon. There'll be a link in the video. And click the link and pledge us any of your hard-earned money. Would be I love it, and I'm so appreciative to all the people who contribute towards the videos.
I'll add that Johno totally deserves it. Most of this is a one-man band of an operation. Johno does all the work, and then me and Joey and other people get to turn up and just chat about games.
Right. Yeah, I didn't even pay you to say that. That was good.
Nice.
All right. Anyway, so thank you, James, for coming and helping me out with this video, and thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.